I wanted to shout out. There's a bunch of content creators that watch our streams, and they're like silent lurking, and they just enjoy it because checking out other creators making stuff. And so I wanted to shout out Mitch and shout out Shawn if they manage to hear this part of the stream. But probably not, because it's right at the end, but maybe.
Yeah. I'll just end and just like edit it to the beginning. Hey, shout out to Shawn and shout out for watching the stream. And then we start.
I'm not going to do that though. Okay, cool. Maybe next week.
Hey, what's up? Well, welcome to the stream we just logged into. I'm Kurt, this is Darren. We are a hip-hop duo, but also writers of Legends of Avalon and the book Fae Seeker's Guide to Avalon.
That's true.
We have people in the chat. We got Zilphia, who's apparently is house hunting. I'd like to hear more about that when you get a second. I'm curious about your house hunting exploits and why you're house hunting. Is it because of politics and you're worried about being close to the border with all of this?
You want to escape?
Are you distressed about my country invading your country and these dangerous climbs? Curious, yeah, let us know. How you doing this week, Darren?
Yeah, I'm great. So this is, obviously we didn't stream last week, and that was because my internet was dead when I returned back from America, which was a fun surprise. And so I had to get that fixed, but now we're back and we're live. And that means this is the first stream since I went to MagFest. And that means I can now report to stream that MagFest was excellent, as always, which was great. It was really cool to see people, meet people that are fans of the game, sign books, sell books, play games with folk, run sessions, that kind of thing. In fact, I'm going to go to screen share already and show this excellent photo that Jasmine took. Look at this. Look at this, we're gaming. And she managed to take a photo literally while the guy was chariot riding. So this is, we're chariot racing here, and he's like mid-chariot ride emoting, which is kind of perfect. This group was great. And it's funny actually, I didn't, harass is not the word. I poked this guy a lot because I recognized him. I recognized his voice, I recognized his play style, I recognized his face and his gloves. And I was like, dude, haven't you played this game before? And he kept telling me no. And I was like, well then how else would I know you? But I think he played Knockoff last year. I think is what happened.
Oh, maybe.
That's why I recognize him. Because I'm sure I've spoken to him.
He doesn't look familiar to me, though.
He doesn't? Okay, then maybe he just spoken to me before and hasn't played about. But I'm sure I've played with him, so maybe he forgot. I don't know. Doesn't matter. Anyway, great photo from Jasmine. Good times was had by all.
Did you do the what scenario did you run?
It is a custom scenario. It's not available to anyone. It's kind of like a part redo of the chariot race in Against the Fairy Queen, but it's set in the past. And it's kind of like in-world canon as well. Like it's when Brennan Talorc lost his son, the prince goes missing. It's that time period, and it's fun as well because like the Brennan are like younger, and one of them is different because he hadn't inherited the throne yet or whatever.
Right.
So it's set during that time, yeah.
That would be Brennan Alpin, right? Inheriting it from.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I forget who I included and didn't include, but Brennan Lilybeth is in power instead of the next lady. Oh yeah, and Zilphia says house hunting is for sad in the politics. Okay, well, sorry to hear that. Obviously, no need to share. Hope things are okay.
Okay.
And good with you. Yeah.
Well, I hope for success for you. That's all one can hope for their friend who are going through tough times. So.
Yeah.
And is that the scenario you ran
last year?
I've seen you run.
Yeah. So that's now my go-to because it's a lot of fun. It's just like it's weird. I always feel like I have to stress to people that the game isn't chariot racing. This is a scenario we're playing in which is chariot racing, right? But it works because there's lots of decisions to make. There's lots of being creative with the environment and with the other chariot races. And then at the end of the race, there's a combat, right? And it's really good to run at conventions as well because you can easily control how long the session lasts for because you can make the combat easier or more difficult at the end. Like the bosses, a lot of them have second phases, but often I have to cut the second phase because of time. But you can also make the race course shorter as well or longer, depending on what you need.
Right.
So yeah, it's very flexible. It's a well-designed encounter for running a session in an hour and a half at a con. Yeah.
And evocative, because
Yeah,
Celtic
chariot racing, exactly.
Yeah, it's pretty funny that. So that means that you've had people say like, "Oh, is the whole game just chariot racing?" Like,
no one has actually asked that. I always stress at the beginning though, because I was afraid someone will think that. But I mean, I've probably been silly to think of it, but yeah.
Sure.
So.
Oh wait, on a brighter note, you're getting married this March.
Woo! Congratulations.
I see. Congratulations. Your part. That's soon. That's next month.
Yes, that is soon. Yeah. If you have to skip the stream because of wedding preparations, we will not forgive you. I mean, sorry, we will forgive you. You will be forgiven. That's fine. No worries. Obviously, do what you gotta do.
100%.
Yeah.
Or
bring the stream. I don't know. We could come. Yeah. We can.
Yeah. When you have your ceremony, can you just put me and Darren on an iPad in the corner and just like
we'll whoop and holler. Yeah.
As a courthouse wedding? No, that's I know many solid marriages that were courthouse weddings.
Nice. My wedding was a courthouse wedding. I mean, when you say courthouse wedding, what I understand from that is that you're doing it at like the officiator's office with like only 5 people or 3 people attending or something. If that's what you mean, then yeah, I did that. To be fair, we did have a big party a year later, which you can do as well. You can consider having a party at another time if you want to, because that's what we did. Yeah.
So congrats, do your thing. That's exciting, and changes in your world are always good. Yeah. Oh, wonderful.
Okay, so I already feel like we've been meandering for too long, but there's one more thing I want to mention before we get down to business. And that is, last night, I and Jasmine and I went to Swansea, which is a city west of here. It takes an hour on the bloody train. It feels like it should be closer, but it's not. And we went to see Avatar: The Last Airbender in concert. So we saw an orchestra perform the music from the show, while in the background they had like a montage of key moments and scenes from the series in chronological order, and they played the music along to those scenes and those themes for the whole series. Yeah.
Was that the university?
No, it was in the big arena that they built recently.
When you said we saw Avatar: The Last Airbender, I thought it was going to end with the movie and it was going to be a bad story, but it's a good story because it's music. It's not the movie. It's the music.
Yeah, it was really cool. It was great. And I cried like 4 times.
Full disclosure, I still haven't finished.
I know, that's why I brought this up. And this is my final pitch to you, which is A, the music's amazing.
Sure.
And B, I was thinking of you during the intermission. And I was like, how am I going to get Kurt to watch Avatar?
Well, I do want to.
I know.
I do want to watch.
I know you do want to watch it, but I'm like, okay, how do I make it happen even more? And I went on IMDb out of curiosity, and can you guess what the IMDb rating for the final episode of Breaking Bad is? The series finale.
9.8.
It's a 9.9.
9.9, yes.
Can you guess what the series rating for the series finale of Avatar is? It is also 9.9.
9.9, sure. I'm gonna say, okay.
It's just an incredible storytelling experience, man.
I'm wondering whether or not I want to watch it with Ren.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure how he should be before he watches it.
I don't know the answer to that. Yeah.
He probably it's probably too advanced for him. I mean, he likes watching things.
Yeah.
And we'll discuss anything together. But it's probably too advanced for him in terms of like narrative. So I don't know. Maybe
or English language even. Yeah. I don't know. Well, it starts off as a kids show, right? Like the first 12 episodes are very kids show because they had to sell it to Nickelodeon as a kids show, and so they kind of committed to that. And then they renewed the season at like episode 13 or something. And then once it got renewed, they're like, okay, now we can start doing the storytelling like hardcore. So the first 12 episodes are kind of like more kidsy, and then it starts going into the character arcs and everything. kind of more in depth and
Alright,
gets more serious and adulty from there. Yeah.
I will watch it. I promise you this.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Even if it takes me 11 years, which is how long those take.
Awesome.
And Jeffrey House says that's awesome. I'd love to have those type of shows. And you have to drive a minimum of 5 hours to see a show.
Oh no,
Yeah,
you're
that's
right out
fine.
in sticks then, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. Although there's benefits to that too, which is not
Yeah.
being around a bunch of people, which is
countryside.
a benefit
Yeah.
as well. Well, no, that sounds wonderful, and plus I just like live music.
Yeah, it was cool. Although it was a tad,
Yeah.
I'll give them some critique. Is that there were some instruments that weren't played live, and that's clearly because they're touring the show and using local orchestras, and I don't think they had like an expert koto player in the building, so. Or maybe even the instrument. So obviously that was recording, and so yeah, you kind of forgive it, but also it's kind of like, well, we're seeing a live orchestra. Give me all the live music, you know.
Sure.
So
I also feel like you could fake that. Did you fake that with like arrangement, like strings pizzicato?
oh,
Is that?
maybe, but
I mean,
yeah,
I don't know. I mean, I guess I would hear the song, and I do agree with you. If you're going through all this effort to do a full orchestra,
yeah,
just-
yeah. Oh yeah, and the first violinist clearly had to learn a new instrument for the show because there was one traditional instrument that they made sure was live. Oh no, actually, I lie. So there was a, what do you call a flautist? Flautist,
flautist.
right? Yeah. There was a flautist, and he played like 7 instruments or 8 instruments. Like he had a whole table full of them, and there were different kind of like
Nice.
East Asian kind of flute instruments that he was playing that were super authentic and awesome. And that really important because that's a major feature of all the musical themes. So that was great. And then yeah, the poor first violinist, she had to learn. It's like a multiple mini-stringed guitar that's quite thick. I think they call it PP or something, or a pepe or something.
Oh yeah.
Pepper.
Pipa.
That's it. And she had the thing like that, and she wasn't very good, right? It was like she could do the fingering, but she couldn't do the strumming very well, and there was some hiccups in places. But she still got through it. To be fair, she did play most of the notes.
I mean, those instruments are hard.
Yeah, I know.
I
And
guess
she
for
like
koto,
probably had like 2-3 weeks to learn it, so she did a pretty good job considering. Yeah.
But also, I'm a big fan of a lot of those instruments, even though I can't play them. Guzheng, that's like the Chinese koto. They probably don't have a show. That's like a Japanese classical instrument that looks like it's like a mouth organ that looks like a giant lotus. It's very cool. Anyway, I'm jealous. That sounds like a cool experience, and
It was great.
and I will watch.
Yeah.
I will watch the whole show. How many seasons is it?
It's 3
5
seasons.
3 seasons?
Yeah.
Not too bad then.
3 seasons of 20 episodes, and each season is like
Yeah,
proper
that-
arc and everything. Like they clearly planned it from
Well,
the
we
beginning. Yeah, it's very impressive.
Well, we finally finished BoJack Horseman, so maybe there's time in the schedule.
Okay, so let's get started.
Of
So
your-
we're doing something fun and exciting today,
Okay.
which was we came up with just before the stream started, and it was Kurt's idea. So do you want to tell everyone what we're doing today?
Yeah, so we are going to be writing about the World of Avalon. Obviously, because that's our book. But we already have 2 books in which we've written about Avalon. And so the conversation came up, how much and or how little should we share from the previous books in this book? Because the idea is that this book is the Face Seekers Guide to Avalon, and you should be able to run games in Avalon with this book. But we also don't want loyal supporters like Zilphia to just be like, oh, did you guys just like copy and paste from the previous books?
Yeah.
Because that's not fair either. But we also want to make it feel like it's complete by touching on the things that we have talked about and making sure that nothing gets overlooked. So I think one of our sort of fact-finding missions for this book is start compiling the places and little places that we've already talked about that's both on the map and inside the book, and start compiling a document that we can both refer to and also put in the book, you know, as information and for all the things that we've written about and touched on in the previous 2 books. And also possibly come up with new ideas on elaborating on some of those sections, and coming up with new places that would be relevant to these things. Is that the question
Yeah.
that we talked about?
So initially, part of me was thinking, oh, this is kind of a waste of time, because whenever we come to a location, we can just Control F and find it and see what's already written, and then just do that, right? It'd be a waste. We've got precious time to write this book. It'd be a waste of time to just go through, collect all the information, and put it in one place when we could just find it when we need it. But when I said that out loud, I kind of realised, it's probably best if we do have a document that has everything in it. That seems somewhat sensible. And it sounded like a fun thing to do. The real kicker for me is it seemed like a fun thing to do on stream, because then it's kind of a video depository of like all our locations in the world and what's happening in there. And that could be fun for people to see. So yeah.
If we think we can finish by the time we finish the stream.
I think I'm okay to do this over 2 streams, but I don't think we're anywhere near close to doing it in 2 streams. But we'll see. I don't mind doing this next week as well as a 2-parter. But yeah, we'll see.
Okay, sure. So then it becomes a question of how do we start, and I guess we start just by picking a place and talking about the locations.
Yeah. So if anyone's here, and I know Zilfia's here, where do you want to start? We got the Pen Cawr, Raxian Empire, and the let me go share screen so you can see the map.
Yeah, share screen.
Here is the map of Avalon. We have the Pen Isles of the mask-wearing sailors. We have the Pendrike Mountains and the proud competitive warrior tribes. We have the Penbythe Forest and the pious rangers that live there. The Penlevy Swamps and the ruthless raiders. The Pen Cawr Plains and the adaptive bustling towns and cities, and then we have the Raxian Empire, of course. Although I don't think we're really doing much of the Raxian Empire because we didn't really unlock that section on the Kickstarter, so ignore the Raxian Empire, I guess, for now. That's kind of like forbidden territory.
I mean that's the question I guess I would ask myself we're not delving into the Raxian Empire, but it's still on the island of Avalon.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's still part of Pen Cawr lands. Well, anyway, we can start. I mean, maybe we start with that section. I mean, that would be my preference, because that's...
Start with the Empire?
No, start with the Pen Cawr, with the South, and figure out how much of it we should talk about. Because it is the first in the core rulebook as well, right?
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, let's do it. Let's do it. Okay, cool. So I'm writing in stream ideas because I couldn't find a better document for now.
Sure, that's fine.
Pen Cawr lands.
And I guess up to you how much you want to write about it. If we're just gonna write the title and then a blurb, or if you want to write.
Oh no, I'm going to copy and paste all the information from the things, and then we'll write other stuff.
Oh,
does that make sense?
Just put sure, that's fine. Yeah, that
way.
What
did you think? What was you thinking we should do?
I thought we were just going to look at it and talk about it, and then you'll just write a sentence or two. But
but what if we don't remember stuff?
No, that's true. Well, we always don't remember stuff.
Yeah,
that's fine. You could start that way.
Yeah. So what I was going to do is I was going to press Control F, and then I was going to pick a location and then find everything we've written about it in each of the books to make sure we don't miss anything, and then add our own ideas. Whoops! I didn't mean to do that. Pick a location on the map in Pen Cawr lands, I guess.
So if we're starting with locations, we can start with Cawrdunum.
Sure, that makes sense. It's the capital. That I know. It's the capital. Cawrdunum.
And I know we talk about it just as the capital near the river Avon.
Yeah. Oh yeah, cool. So okay, it's working. Okay, the PDF has to wait a while to load. Okay, so can you see the stream as well, so you can see what's coming up? I guess I'll make this smaller. Yeah. It finds it because it's in Brennan Tiberius Claudius Cawrdunum's name.
Yeah.
Which obviously means he's the leader of that city.
And we don't actually talk about, even though it's the capital, we don't mention it really in Fairy Queen, right?
No, because we don't really go to the Pen Cawr lands in Fairy Queen.
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
So it is a big chunk of area that is very little touched on.
Cawrdunum, and I might be getting an illustration of it right now as well.
Cool.
Okay, so it's the Pen Cawr capital. We know that for sure. Capital. This is probably better. Well, we'll see. Okay, next. Leadership. Yeah, we say in Avalon, Cawrdunum is the capital of the Pen Cawr and is one of the most popular settlements in Avalon. The incredible earthworks and barricades mark and defend its farming territory for miles. The city itself sits at the back of this fertile plain in the bend of the River Avon.
So this is our. So you're copy and paste that into the document.
Yeah, I guess so, right? That makes sense just to do that, doesn't it?
And then I guess you could put it in a highlight, like a color, so that way you know it's like previous book text.
Yeah, can do. I mean, at the moment, everything will be book text, right? Unless we write other things, I guess.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, but you're right. I can do italics. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Sure. So
And
that's
then
everything
that's it.
we've ever read. That's everything we've ever written about Cawrdunum in the book. Is that right?
I guess so. Yeah, I'll check Fairy Queen. But
I don't know if we. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I don't think we said anything about it very.
no, I don't think it's in there. So that's everything then. Okay.
Yeah,
So then now, do we want to
so
talk
that-
more about it, or do we just want to move on to the next thing and just start chronologically?
I guess we can talk briefly about one. How much more do we want to talk about it in the new book? How much should we talk about it? And maybe there's a rating we could give to the locations. You're right.
A rating?
Like 3, very important. 2, maybe a bit more. 1, not so important. But I don't know. What do you think? I think it's pretty important to talk more about because it's the capital. But what do you think?
Oh yeah, it's
Or is it
definitely is. But yeah, it's difficult. Like, I guess, yeah, maybe we should, like, and the way I'm imagining it is that in the clan section, we should talk about what the clan is like, right? What it's like to live there, what kind of things they do to survive, and the way we can frame that is in the context of locations. And we can talk about Cawrdunum and its like incredible farmland stretching for miles, right? And the earthen ramparts that keep everything safe, and then what the people do in that space. And then talk about like what trade comes in and out. Why do people go to the city? And then why do people come out of the city? And maybe just by talking about all that stuff, it will lead to more discussion about the city itself. Plus, we need to come up with secret factions for the Pen Cawr. Well, not secret factions, but obviously there's the leadership, but then there's the rebels. And then there should be like a third that we talk about as well. And maybe that's tied to another location. Maybe the rebels exist in the Argyle Forest, you know, that kind of thing. And hopefully just by talking about all this stuff, we detail the locations more. But on the other hand, I do wonder to myself, like, what else is there to say about a city? Except by going into like a deep dive and discussing all the locations and all that kind of stuff in it, which we're not going to do in this book, right? There's not enough space for that kind of thing. But like, what more is there to say about a city? I mean, I'm asking that earnestly. Like, what?
Well,
yeah.
in the context of Avalon, things that are interesting is how like the level of development. I mean, as a player coming into, if I don't know anything about the world of Avalon,
Yeah.
and I don't know much about the level of technology of Iron Age, you know, Iron Age Celtic towns and cities.
Yeah.
I don't have a feel for how big this, you know, what it means for it to be a city. And,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
like,
So that's great. So then I'm going to write down here questions, things we might want to answer. Is like how big is it?
even saying something like about, you know, so many thousand people.
Yeah.
Can be useful.
Size / population. Does it have a standing army or force?
Yeah.
So
And as
how
we're
big is
going
that?
through, and Zilphia or anyone in the chat, as we're going through, if you have any questions too, feel free to ask, and we can just write it down. And we
don't even mean questions that you're curious about, although we are happy to have that as well. But as a GM, if you were making content using these locations, I guess those are the kind of questions we'd want to answer, right? So that we can help you do that.
Yeah, and traditionally some other book, like if you go to some of the old, again, my point of reference is a lot of old TSR books that I used to grow up in love with. It always talk about these places generally, and then maybe talk about a notable landmark or tavern or whatever that you can latch onto, and that could be useful too, like some famous landmark in the city that the players can refer to or interact with, right? Like whether it's the biggest enclave of Everchilds or a festival that happens there or what have you. Yeah, and I guess that's a thing too, is we do mention like events and festivals and so on. We don't have to talk about that right now, but I'm just saying it out loud for myself to consider whether or not we want to have some sort of calendar or whatever for the world, or general timeline of the different big events that happen on Avalon. But anyway, we'll come back to that.
I guess now that I wrote these questions down, I'm starting to think that maybe these are just general questions to ask at most places, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Like maybe this should be. Oops.
At the top.
Oh no, that's my button. Maybe this should be like up here. Avalon location summary, and then questions to be answered in Faith Seekers.
And then but we also have to make the choice on which places deserve answers to these questions and which ones can be kind of glazed over, right? That's always the hard part, because you could write forever about everything, but
exactly.
Physics are real.
Then I wanted to bring up a piece of an illustration that I'm currently commissioning. So this is the sketch for it. So this is the current sketch, and I don't know yet if this is going to be Cawrdunum, but it's going to be representative of the large kind of town cities that exist there.
It's pretty.
Yeah. And it's modelled off a real-world location, right? I think I've shown you this kind of stuff before, but
yeah.
Like, look at this shit. This is real and in the UK. This is in Dorset somewhere, I think. And this thing's freaking huge.
Oh yeah. I think I've seen this before.
And it's still there, right?
Yeah.
And it's clearly man-made, right? Like they formed the earth and shaped it and piled it to create these fortifications. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's so cool.
I like that in the sketch, for whatever reason, the fort, the fortification walls, it reminds me of crayons when I was a kid. You were lining
Sure.
I was like, did you ever do that? Like, you ever like in class put all the your color pencils together, printed it with like a castle wall? You never did that?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, I did that all the time. Shit.
Okay.
That was my favorite thing to do with color pencils.
And then the other side, we're doing like a cattle raiding scene. But this is changing. Yeah, it's fun doing sketches because like the feedback I can tell you. We're wasting time doing art briefs again. I won't tell you what the feedback is. You'll just see it next week when it's done, and then we can compare. Anyway, moving on.
What's the So what's happening in the right scene? Oh, it's a raid. Okay, they're attacking. Got it.
Okay, where next then? I guess you'll just keep moving around the area. So the River Avon. Should we just say River Avon? See if there's anything mentioned about that. I don't know if there is, but we'll check.
Probably just Cawrdunum.
Yeah. Also, I'm pretty sure Avon just means river in Welsh, so it's one of those like river tautological things that we did that I did for laws.
Isn't there like a town in Britain that just means like town if you were like decipher all of them?
Yeah. There's one that's hill.
Oh yeah.
I think it's 4 hills. It's like the hill. It's like Celtic, Germanic, Old English of like the names.
Do you remember the?
It's Bryn. Well, I know the words. It's like Bryn and something. I could look it up quickly. Hill. Toppenhau Hill. Yeah, see, Pen is like Pen of Unk. Means the head hill, highest point.
Or Penhau Hill. Yeah. So it's just hill.
Yeah.
Hill to the 4th. I got you.
Yeah. Anyway, Avon. Here we go. We mention it in context of the Cawrdunum. So that can go there. Change that to Cawrdunum. And then I think that's it. I don't think it's in against the Fairy Queen because we don't go there.
Here's a location that is mentioned, but doesn't have a location on the map. Sarah Hamlet.
Oh, yeah, that's because that's from my Pathfinder campaign. That's a Pathfinder campaign
It's still
reference.
a location with stuff that happens.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
We should just write it down for now.
It mentions some battle as well, didn't it?
Yeah, exactly. There's a battle that happens there during the Sorrows.
Yeah. Okay, I'm trying to find
So there's
it.
stuff like that, right? So that's the stuff that we forget about if we're only looking at the map. But there's all these little pieces of lore that are mentioned in poetry and so on.
Yeah.
That could make interesting locations, but that we only mention in like passing in a thing that can be developed.
Yeah, that's totally another thing to go through is check through the book to check all the stories and all the flavor text for all these places. Yeah, put them down. Yeah.
Yeah.
So sure. I don't know if Sarah Hamlet is in the Pen Cawr lands though, right? It could be anywhere.
I had the impression because it's right by the Pen Cawr and also
No, it's next to the Eversorrow section. That's why it's there.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Okay,
It could be anywhere.
Maybe then you write Sarah Hamlet and be like, where is it? That could be the question. That could be a question.
So you're right. So we should have another section then for
Oh, like to be decided, TBD.
TBD locations. Yeah, and then Sarah.
I just assumed it was Pen Cawr land, but you're right. It could be elsewhere.
Sarah Hamlet was my Tristram, and if that means anything to anyone, they'll know what it means. If you don't, then don't worry about it. But Sarah Hamlet was my Tristram.
Also, we mentioned other places. We mentioned the ocean, the Erioed Ocean to the west, right? Which is the ocean.
All right, slow down. So so the other locations, we'll do that another time. We're just doing Pen Cawr right now, and then going back to the map. Yeah, we could do the Erioed Ocean if you want.
Because we talk about the River Glass, which is not on the map, but is a river.
It is on the map.
So where is it?
It's northeast, next to Clever. But I'm gonna go. I'm like spreading out from the southwest corner now. I've decided we're going like in some kind of order.
Okay, I get you.
Yeah. So we're gonna come down with a River Avon. I guess we'll do Cawrdunum next, or the Diemwnt Cliffs.
Yeah, Cawrdunum. That's the Court of Giants.
Yeah. So Cawrdunum is literally the Welsh name for Stonehenge. I just kept that as is. Wait for the PDF to load. Let's go here.
Yeah, this is a location I'd like to talk more about in the Secrets of Unwin, probably, which is interesting.
Yes, all the Secrets of Avalon. Like, it's in Avalon, right? So.
Oh, sure. Yeah, so like maybe in the player-facing section, there's just like a note about it being a Stonehenge type area, and this is a good place for like more GM-facing adventure idea, I think, to help flesh it out.
Yeah. So there's just that sentence. Course of Giants. Yeah. I'm saying from here, and then I'm clicking next. Where are we here? We'll soon see if his legends about Gregor hold true. Did we discuss anything in the story?
No. I mean, I guess technically it's depicted in that art, right? Is that implied that that's...
Yeah, it kind of is implied. Although, I don't know, actually. I guess it is kind of implied, but no, because there's mountains there. It's definitely not the same location.
Well, it also says it's in the distance, the final destination, and it's in the destination there. It's in the distance there, the destination.
Yeah, but it's not referring to the illustration. I'm saying I'm not beholden to it, and you can't force my hand.
I won't.
Okay, fine. Nothing else there. Then we have a whole section here. Yeah, okay. Let's see. did we say the same thing there? Yeah, we said the same thing there. So I'll just paste this in over instead.
A bunch of stuff.
Yeah. So Pen Cawr is our Stonehenge. There's an arrangement of 50 huge slabs of stone erected by the Cawr Theatre. Yeah. So we say this is literally made by the giants, and they ruled the land, which maybe is kind of like a bit diminishing to our Neolithic ancestors in Britain, because they didn't have giants. They actually made it themselves, right? We're kind of saying people can't make this. I guess maybe our version is even bigger and grander and crazier, right? It's more fantastical than actual Stonehenge.
Although, and my understanding too is though that it follows the history because the construction of Stonehenge is misattributed to the Druids when it's older than them.
Yes.
Too.
Yeah.
So in that way, I mean, again, it doesn't have to be either like this is what we say about it, but I don't know. That could also just be the common lore. Right?
Yeah.
There could be a deeper lore if you want to change that up and be like, no.
Oh, we have a first-time chat from Sad X Games. Hello. I hope your games aren't too sad, or I guess maybe it's sad. You're sad and the games are separate. But welcome. If you're into TTRPGs. Let me know kind of what kind of games you're into, and whether you make your own, or whether you're a GM or player, that kind of thing. Always keen to learn about people and what they like about gaming.
Yeah. So Stonehenge. So yeah, that's the tricky thing about Stonehenge, which is sort of our history and the revitalization. Was it the delving back into Celtic history? We attribute Stonehenge to the Druids and their rituals, but there's a lot, from what I read anyway, there's a belief that that's kind of an invention and that it wasn't, maybe it was after, but that's not the original purpose.
Yeah, I don't actually recall if we know if the Celts used the site, but what we do know is that it's way older than them. So for them, it too would have been a mystery how it got there, right? And it would have been an old place. Which still blows my mind when I think about it. Like, we're talking 2,000 years ago. We're talking about Celtic folk living in Britain 2,000 years ago, and even to them, where these stone formations came from would have been a mystery, right? It's so cool.
Yeah. I'll try to find information in passing later about it, because it is interesting, because it's important, but also misattributed in some ways, but now it's just part of the legend of Druids.
Oh yeah, so we do say here right. The Druids, the Pen Cawr hold congregations amongst the stones.
So we do that in our that's the popular. We do say that, so they do use it.
Yeah,
and so that's kind of a nod to.
Sad X Games suggesting that we have a war between wizards and druids that's arranged at Stonehenge.
Sure. Let the best ordered win.
Yeah.
The age is young. Although I feel like the druid, because magic is a real thing, and wizarding order, like mages and mystics in the world of Avalon, it's not like medieval wizarding, or there's not like wizarding orders.
There is in the Raxian Empire, almost. There's like a strict mages guild. Yeah, exactly. But not in Avalon. Yeah.
But in Avalon, it's a bit more primal. The relationship with magic. But people could. It's always fun to fuck shit up. And have conflict.
Okay.
Alright, so
next, the Diemwnt Cliffs, which is your invention.
And kind of inspired by the Cliffs of Dover or something. I'm sure.
Yeah. It was. Yeah, it was inspired by the Cliffs of Dover. Then we just made it literally more brilliant.
Yeah.
So. And so what are they, Kurt, in our world? While I'm copy and pasting.
Oh, it's a cliff face, beset with precious stones. But it's very perilous to get those gems because, I guess, climbing. What do you call it? Rock climbing and belaying technology is not that great.
Yeah.
So it's very easy to get yourself killed trying to get them.
And importantly, the nearby tribe forbids it.
Yeah, they believe that it's they're playthings of the Everchild.
Yeah.
And they will.
So again, it's like that kind of location, right? So maybe this is a good one to talk about. Is so we say everything that it is here. We say that it's the local tribe believes it's the playthings of the Everchild, and they protect it and make sure that people don't steal from there. Also, that it's very dangerous, and that's like a tantalizing reason why adventurers might want to go there. Maybe the tribe would gift people stones from the cliff if they do something to help them greatly, that kind of thing. GMs can run with that. But then it's like, well, what else could we say about it? And you realize, well, there's 100 things we could say about it. Maybe there's a particular stone that's extremely prized. Maybe there's a historical event where another tribe stole a stone from there and they still have it, and this tribe wants it back, right?
Yeah.
Maybe there is a famous climber. Maybe there's a famous role, an important role in the tribe of like the one person who's allowed to scale the cliffs and take stones from there for the tribe, right? Like there's so much we could invent and talk about it, and then the question is, well, how much do we? And
want to, sure.
And then how much do we? Because we actually wrote quite a bit here, and this is actually a sizable piece of text that we could or could not include in the book. And then, do we mention it? I guess we should mention it, but then do we say less because there's more in the original book, or do we say more?
I think we can.
I don't know.
I haven't thought about it, but I just want to mention on Zilphia mentioned that they dug up what they believe to be Druid pieces from Stonehenge. If you have an article, please send it my way. I'll have to read about that stuff. I did a quick search and I couldn't find it. I did find information about remains that were discovered at Stonehenge, but not necessarily the origins of it. And Sad Games is suggesting that a long time ago, Druid and Wizard constructed a thing that they called Stonehenge. It was a place where they herded and feasted. But one day a war broke out, and who knows what started, but they noticed a Cold War for, was it engines? Visions? For gathered in feasts. So, possibly, but again, this is a different world from Earth. And in this world, the druids and mages and wizards, there's a bit of intertwining between the disciplines, and hypothetically you could be a druid and a mage, right?
Yeah. Actually, no. As the rules stand, but there are people that can do mystic magic and mage magic.
Mystic, right.
But druids can't.
And then, so on the question of the cliffs. My feeling is that we basically take that, we mention it sort of truncated in a few sentences, and then maybe add another piece of information to it. So, like, for example, we can name the tribe that is guarding it, right?
Right, and then put them on the map. Yeah.
Yeah, and say, oh yeah, the tribe that guards this cliff, which is sacred to their tribe and is rumored to be set with jewels, is the blah blah tribe, and there's rumors that there might, and throw in one or two other pieces of information that would be relevant. So you talk about the cliffs, the salient information is there, but you can also add information that when you put it together with the books from the core book, it gives you an even broader scope for the location. It's kind of how I feel it might work out. And yeah, maybe none of the tribes stole it, but some stole it and make the tribes, they fight and the tribes stole it, but they're alive and the tribes did. Yeah, it could be.
Exactly. So that, I mean, I know Sadix Games is just like riffing and creating ideas in the chat, but that's an important thing to consider as well when you're making these kind of books. It's like, make mysteries, and then you can either answer the mysteries in the books as a fact that the GMs can play with, or you can leave it open-ended and let the GMs come up with their own ideas. And that's an interesting path to a line to thread or stay on one side or the other. And I guess the answer probably is a mixture, right? You want to do a bit of both.
Because people like it when there's a bit of a definitive to it, right? Like when you're like, this is the thing, and the mystery solved for me, but also it's not fun if you don't have any space to play around it. So you're right. Yeah. Psyche, you're right. If 100%, that's the narrative that drives you, the conflict that you want to explore, then 100%, have at it. We support it.
Okay, so then the Eriod Ocean. Now, I do wonder if we need to say much about this, because it's technically not on Avon, it's just a part. It's literally outside it. But,
There's a houseboat out there, and if you go to the houseboat, you can get special herbs.
but there is all the towers of the island to the west, right? I mean, which was literally Avarnum in some places and things.
And the funny thing about this is, like, in terms of the bigger scope of our world, this isn't Earth, but at the same time, we're inspired by Earth-like things. So we don't know if there's another. Is there another? We haven't revealed yet if there's a North America-style continent.
Yeah. What's west of Avarnum exactly? Although we do say in the back of the book that it's the known edge of the world, right? So I guess we are saying that there is. I feel bad, but yeah, there's no like Ireland over here, you know. this is I guess we kind of moved Ireland up here instead, essentially.
To the northeast a little bit.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I mean, I guess you could if you tilt the island a little bit, the orientation becomes slightly more classical.
Okay. Next is River Aberfili. Which is that just one F? Yeah, it's one F. Feels like it should be two Fs.
Where do we mention it? Oh, is this on the map?
Yeah, I'm at the map. I'm going to search now to see if we mention it, but I don't think we do.
Yeah, because sometimes, there's some locations that you just mention on the map, but we never talk about it anywhere else, right?
Yeah, but I mean, this one is named because Caerphilly is there, right?
Yeah. Do we talk about Caerphilly elsewhere? That's just like a fort, right?
Don't think so, yeah. And for those that want to know the secret trivia, Caerphilly is where Jasmine and I had our wedding party. So this is like a reference to Caerphilly Castle, which is literally just 30 minutes that way. Well, 30-minute drive that way, I guess. And it's awesome.
I also saw a video recently about there was this cook in Wales making what he called the national dish of Wales, which is it's like a bread dish with like cheese on it.
Yeah, rarebit. Yeah, rarebit's well good. Yeah, it's lovely.
Yeah. I've never had rarebit.
Dude. I don't want to piss any Welsh people on the chat, but it's basically really fancy cheese on toast. And to be fair, it is very fancy cheese on toast. I love it. It tastes great. It's the best cheese on toast you'll ever have. Easily, hands down. But that is what it is. And it's very good. I mean, it's more advanced than cheese on toast. That's why it's fancy. It has like, I forget the ingredients, but it has like an important layer of sauce or something that the bread is cooked in.
Yeah, I saw someone make it, and so I was considering making it for myself. It looks
cool.
It looks delicious. It looks amazing. And I wouldn't be able to do it justice because I don't know what the original one tastes like.
Yeah. Well, when you come here, we'll have some. I mean, actually, to be fair, it's kind of hard to get in Cardiff, but once you travel like into Wales proper, everywhere sells it. It's like something you can always get on a menu, kind of thing. Yeah.
Just for frame of reference, how much does a plate of rarebit cost?
Not much.
Yeah, like
depends where you are, but it could be like £7, maybe.
£7.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Good to know. That's good reference point.
So we actually have a whole bit on Caerphilly. It's like an introduction here. We have a character called Quinn, and he talks about Caerphilly in this whole story in the Professions opening chapter. So it's a wonderful hub. It's a hub. Why a place like this out in the middle of nowhere is so significant, or why I sound so enthusiastic. It's a wonderful hub. Major towns with a week's journey in all directions. This is the perfect central location if you're traveling from one end to the other. It used to be a Raxian fort. So it's out in the middle of nowhere. Out in the middle of nowhere. It's a wonderful hub. It's a travel hub, basically. A minor Raxian fort to begin with. I'm just copying and pasting the importance into this story, I guess. But even walls, so it has walls. So what did it do? Shut everyone, people set up camp outside. So there's a makeshift market camp outside.
We got Quinn who's talking about it. We don't know who Quinn is.
Quinn was one of those backers that wanted a name in the book, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think
Well,
Quinn might have
they-
been my friend Tim in DC, maybe. Shout out to Tim if that's the case. Travelers.
Do you remember who wrote this text?
I think it was Jasmine.
Yeah.
Find anything and everything here, but no one ever stays long. It's constantly changing. In all my years of sailing, I'd say I've never seen anything quite like it. One day you'll find the finest tanner in all of Ireland staying at the dingy little camp near the wall, and next week you're out of luck if you want the leathers repaired. Sometimes a shepherd will come by with an entire flock, and then it smells like sheep for a mile in all directions for days afterwards. Alchemists, jugglers, poets, all kinds. So this is like the introduction to the professions, right? I think it's very good for doing its job.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a mixy hamlet. Wonders of travellers. People always passing through, so. Through,
Right.
never staying long.
So yeah, there's more about carefully than I recalled. I forgot that this section of the book.
Yeah, me too, actually.
And also, great place to get married. I heard. I heard.
Yeah.
There's a wedding. There's a wedding hall here in Carefully, in the castle, in the fort. You can rent. And
Cool.
DJ.
All right, then next. So we've done this section going up here. I guess maybe we should do the Argyle Forest next.
Yeah. So the Argyle Forest is also mentioned in the short story, right?
Yeah.
Oh man, I haven't read this in a second. Yeah.
Oh god. And I guess it's like that along with the River Tamases is the main divider of the territories for the Pen Cawr and the Raxians.
Right.
Argyle Forest. We avoid it because of its nature. Actually, the forest is only mentioned 3 times.
Well, because the adventure their adventure takes place in the Argyle.
Who does what?
In the short story.
Oh yeah. But I'm just saying by name. Yeah.
Yeah, by name, sure. Yeah, they're just like in the Argyle, and there's like a little pool that goes into.
So I guess then I'll just write LOA opening adventure for Lysaira, Selwyn, and Eilir takes place there, as well as the legends of. The thing is, I feel like this information we're probably not going to mention in the books. I don't think Lysaira, Selwyn, and Eilir
No,
probably
they're
come
not.
up.
But
I mean, they could
it's
do,
good.
but and then there's also like
they were mighty legends after their not to mention that it was an Avant in the that's something to consider. Why was there an Avant in the Pen Cawr Otherworld?
Yeah.
So that's a question to answer.
Yeah, that is like one of those kind of minor plot holes in a Varna, but it's one of those ones that's easy to fill up because it's like, okay, there's reasons why that could be the case, right?
Especially if it's coming to the Ever Elder's domain, there's reasons. There could be reasons. We'll see.
Yeah, I still like the story a lot. I think it's good. And if you remember, it's got Jesse's. Jesse had some main characters in him.
Oh, who was his main character? Was it Amina?
Yeah.
Yeah. Bring it up when you talk to him in a few weeks.
I'm sure I can remember this, but yeah.
So, on the map, we also mentioned. Okay, so are we moving on to the next location?
Yep. I think so.
So we talk about the Dawlish Moors on the map, and I don't know if we mentioned that in the book. I don't recall where else that's mentioned in the book.
The Dawlish Moors, yeah. Do we mention that? I guess we'll find out. Dawlish Moors. Dawlish Moors. That's fine. Yeah, no, we don't. So do you know why that place exists?
Why is that?
Because
why or what?
Yeah, why? The reason why I'm pretty sure the reason why that place exists is because I was like, I didn't want to make the world too Magic the Gathering-y in that all the swamps are in one location where the swamp people live, and all the islands are in one location where the island people live, and all the forests in the forest location where the forest people live, and the mountains in the mountain place. So I made sure that there was at least one other swamp in one other place that wasn't the Pen Levy territories. It's pretty much why that place exists, I think. Yeah.
But that means that ding ding ding, we have a WinRAR of more text to the
Yeah, exactly. We could mention something about the Dawlish Moors. Yeah.
So that's good. So yeah, we definitely need to say more about that space, I think.
Yeah. Okay, and then there's Veranius Plantin.
Yeah. Where else did I mention?
Do you know what Veranius Plantin means?
Hill of Plenty?
Nope, it is Hill of the Child.
Oh, Hill of the Child. Oh, okay.
So is that mentioned anywhere?
I don't know.
And it seems to be another henge. And again, that was a place done so that there isn't just one of these standing stone locations, basically. I mean, maybe if there's a henge there, and maybe this is the location where the Everchild bested the Pen Cawr, right? Somewhere near here or something. Something about that story happened here.
Yeah. I mean, there's like multiple henge like structures, right? It's not like these are the only two, but
no, but these are the only two that are named on the map, right?
So
that must be somehow more important than all the others. Is my point.
Sure.
And then the question is then why? Yeah.
That would make sense to me.
Okay, so that place isn't even named in the book at all. So I'm going to write down here it means Hill of the Child, so that you know that in the future.
Yeah.
I guess it's more like Child's Hill or the Child's Hill, probably.
This is useful to come up with good places to chat about.
Maybe important for his ascension. Ascension/Wild Hunt. Cool. Now we're already like, I guess we're at end of stream time, but we can keep going for a bit. But I'm wondering now if this is interesting or not, or if this is something we should just do off stream, and do people prefer it if we're more creative on stream? So sound off in the comments on YouTube and in Twitch, if either way.
I mean, I guess part of it too is revealing what we know and we don't know about some of these places, which is I find interesting for me as developing this, and as a reminder of like the stuff that we haven't like touched on.
Oh, dude, look at that! We have isn't that funny? I can't remember now if they were somehow related, but in the story we have for the Everchild drowning the Pen Cawr, right? In a lake.
Yeah.
Right? And there's a lake here called the Lake of the Child.
Where is that?
Yeah, it's it's literally northeast of the words Pen Cawr on the map.
Northeast. Oh yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
that would
so the Child's Lake. So maybe that's where.
Maybe that's where the stuff happened. The thing happened.
Maybe it's where.
Wait, have we shared that in Steam yet?
I think we did.
Little background?
Yeah, I think we did. So yeah, pretty sure that isn't mentioned in the book. No, it's not. Cool. So that's another location that's not touched yet.
And so in this, so in the west side, like we have like Uxellodunium and Davavixtrix and Neurolamium. But these are still part of Pen Cawr lands and not the Rexian Empire.
Yeah, I think that's like a complicated thing. I think it's like treaty-wise. Yes, these are Pen Cawr lands, but I think that they might like Uxellodunium. Actually, let's just check. I guess it does have Dunium at the end. Oh, let's check. Let's check if we wrote anything about it. But in my head, my instinct is like, okay, maybe they are run by like Raxians and the Pen Cawr kind of allow it. Although maybe they shouldn't, but they do. You know, maybe it's like an overreach because it's near the wall. Let's have a look. Have I spelled it right? Low Dunium. Yeah, I have. No, we haven't mentioned it anywhere. So that's up to us. We can decide whether that is manned by the Pen Cawr or if it is Raxian because it's near the wall and the Pen Cawr have allowed them to come up to build the wall, to build a fort there.
Right.
I think that's kind of more interesting, a part of like overreach and tension, perhaps.
Yeah, you have to imagine that it's like a garrison / construction site for Veranius as well. Right?
Yeah, I think so. But like it by treaty, technically it shouldn't be there, right? Raxian construction fort for the wall shouldn't be there by treaty. That is allowed. But then there's a question of like, will they leave? will they leave when the wall is done? Yeah.
They're promising to.
Huh? They promised
They're promising to.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay, Cawrdunum. I think we mentioned Cawrdunum somewhere. I think that's like.
That might be in yeah.
I think it's like a secret. The secretly rebels. They are not loyal to the Pen Cawr Prince Brennan. Really? Yeah, it definitely mentioned. Yeah. We have a whole section on it. Other locales, Cawrdunum. Yeah, there's this whole section here. What did we say? Hillfort is modest fortification of minor seafaring consequence. However, below it there is a secret seaside cove with an extensive cavern system that leads to a number of exits, hidden within mounds and hills in the surrounding countryside. While Colwyn, Boreo of the Four, is ostensibly loyal to the neighbouring Raxian forces, a portion of the cove's caverns is dedicated to harbouring anti-Raxian rebels who come on nights seemingly out of nowhere to raid outposts at the most opportune times. Local legends also tell the secret that even Bren Colwyn has been unable to verify that the deepest parts of the cove underneath Cawrdunum lead direct to the otherworld, where the Talatay hold feasts and hunts of their own that can be heard coming from within the hills of the Pen Cawr plains.
Yeah, so this is meant to be a adventure site, like bit of Raxian, bit of Valk stuff, and a bit of like underground dungeon stuff. Yeah, I like this area. I think it's weird.
Yeah. So it's like, that's really good. And it's like, I feel like, see, it's annoying because I'm like, that's so good that I feel like it should just be in the book as it is, you know? Like, why would I change that?
Welcome back, Zilphia.
Welcome back,
so,
Zilphia.
and this is, so this is the question, right? Like, if we put this information in the book, I guess my preference would be that we talk about it, this section, in very brief, and then
add on to it.
And then in the secrets of Avalon, we elaborate more and make it easier to run adventure or run something
more quest hooks.
So then so then you have common, that would be a space where you give it a common, uncommon, legendary lore and really delve into like what's possible for that space.
So then we say basically this is like common lore, uncommon lore, and then there's legendary lore that's yet to be written, basically.
Exactly. Yeah. That's kind of where my head's at. And give the DM more.
This is common and rare lore, legendary lore yet to be written. Actually, Sylvie, we had a question, which was, is this stream interesting? Or should we go back to being more creative on stream where we actually make stuff? Or is it fun to go through all the places that there are and see what we have to say about it? Because we're at ending time soon, and we've almost finished one clan, right?
I mean, it could be that we don't have to do this on stream next time.
But we could do.
But I'm glad But I'm glad we did. We did and are doing this.
Yeah, but I mean, if people think it's super interesting, then I would want to go through all of Avala then on stream. I think that would make a good stream to.
Yeah.
I think it's a good video to have on the channel. But I
Sure.
don't know. I enjoy myself, but I'm
Zofia,
also weird. Yeah, but everyone here is weird, Sophia. That's why we're all here.
Well, there you go. I mean, people like talking and learning about places, and I mean, we wrote the thing, and I wrote this section, and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. It's like a cool fort where the guy is paying lip service, but he's secretly harboring rebels. And so what does that mean? Like, how do we describe that more? And that's fun.
So this surprised me. So Nerolamium is on the map, right? And I thought we wrote something about this place, but we haven't. And
yeah.
my immediate instinct of it is that, well, because it's on the left side of the River Tamases, it should be Pen Cawr now. And my thought is that maybe it was, again, another Raxian place that the Raxians built up, but this is one of the places they actually handed over when they signed the treaties or the war finished or whatever. And now it's under Pen Cawr control, but it still has the Raxian name to it.
Yeah.
Because I think a place like that is
to talk more about like what's the texture of.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what's the texture of it? Is it like a trade hub? Is it like a place where there's like grudgingly the Pen Cawr there? There's like tension amongst people who are like loyalists to either side. There's it's interesting, and there's some interesting questions to be asked of it. So.
Silent. Yeah. And yeah, that's just, I don't know. When I think about these worlds, often a lot of times I create something because I think, oh, we don't have that yet. That would be interesting, right? So what would it be like if there was a town that the Raxian made, and then they signed a bunch of treaties, and this town was handed over to the Pen Cawr, so it has like Raxian architecture as its foundation, and it has a Raxian name, but now it's under Pen Cawr control. How would that town change because it's now under Pen Cawr control? Would it change much? Do Pen Cawr feel weird living in a place that's named after a Raxian thing? Like all that kind of stuff just sounds interesting to me. So then put that in the world, and it's like another toy to play with. Essentially, it's another narrative device, a narrative tool. Yeah, that's available.
Is there a real world parallel to this concept that it evokes for you?
I don't think so. I mean, actually, well, yes, there are plenty of towns and fortifications that the Romans created that then, when they abandoned or left Britain, were then repopulated in different ways, right? I don't know if there are places that were then like given through treaties or rearrangings of borders or that kind of thing. I don't really think that happened. Or if it did, we don't have any evidence of it or would know any examples of it. But there is the other way. So yeah, there are plenty of places that were re-inhabited that were once Roman. Like London. Dude, it's so interesting. Like, they built like a city, Londinium, right? And then once the Romans left, people just left Londinium alone. They knew there was like the walls, the fortress there, but people just didn't live there. They didn't have a reason to live there. There was like no trade routes going up the Thames in that way, and so people just didn't live there for hundreds of years. In fact, people started taking the stones to build their own buildings. They're like, okay, there's some good stones here, we can use those. And then I think there's like one recorded event where an army kind of knew about the fort and went there to like hold location for a bit, and so it's inhabited by armies sometimes as just a ready-made fort. And then it took like hundreds and hundreds of years until people started building towards it again, and then started to encompass it within the city that we now know as London. But it really was just abandoned for hundreds of years. Even though people were living in the areas nearby, they just didn't go there. Yeah,
that's super interesting, especially because they were using it for trade, but there's like a big ass river that runs through it, right? So like, were people just not using it, or were they just like passing through every time?
I don't know exactly. I've forgotten, but yeah.
Well, that's fascinating. I guess then too, like, if we can find any evidence of this kind of texture of Roman towns administered by. No, I guess that would not.
I mean, I don't care.
Right.
We can just make it up. Like, obviously, if it exists, that's cool. But I don't know if it does. But
yeah, it seems unlikely.
yeah.
Oh, also the history being different in that the Valak win a victory where the Celtic did not. Right?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
So, I mean, Boudica gets killed, whereas our Daidica does not.
Yeah.
She's a military victory that forces a treaty.
Although I do think we know. Well, no, I mean we know the Romans didn't conquer all of the Britannia, right? So they must have lost victory somewhere. Like I do think that it's part of like the Romans wrote things down, so we hear it from their perspective thing. Like we know that they didn't go too far into the Pictlands, right? And they built a wall, and that kind of suggests that they just decided, you didn't beat us. We just decided not to invade you, right? But you have to think that they probably did try and lose at some point, and they decided let's not bother.
And you're right. And then the forces that are the invading forces are going to write about.
the victories that they win. Yeah.
I got you.
Anyway, so there's Veranius' wall. What did we say about Veranius' wall? We have a whole section on it. The wall is currently under construction along the receded Pen Cawr border. So that's part of the canon, right? Is that the Pen Cawr used to live further south of here, and they used to have some of these plains as well. And then the Raxian Empire and the Pen Cawr in the war gained some of this territory and split it between them. So there's tension and animosity there. So what do we say? The wall is currently under construction along the receded Pen Cawr border with the intent of consolidating Raxian and Pen Cawr acquisitions and providing a bulwark for future war with the northern clans. However, construction is constantly harried by raiders or rebel Pen Cawr tribes, and no doubt sympathetic Pen Cawr warriors as well, who take refuge in the forest north of the wall. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, this is in the Raxian section, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, but technically, yeah. So that's what I mean is, I do think we can't avoid just talking about
all things Raxian. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is like all of the Pen Cawr on the map as it is. Do we? I guess I'm just going to check quickly against the Fairy Queen section about the Pen Cawr to see if there's anything here. We mentioned the River Glass.
A lot of the stuff in the Fairy Queen is still referencing, like, there's a lot of poems that summarize a lot of like important facts.
Yeah.
We don't do too much invention.
No. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Okay. Do we want to stop there then, or do we want to do another clan? Like, what's the time for you and things you got to get going on?
It's getting late. Yeah, it's getting late. Yeah. I gotta throw on. But we can reconvene next week. Thursday,
next week.
Yes. Yeah. Next Thursday, my niece is staying with me.
Oh, cool.
Or the stepdaughter of my first cousin, which in Filipino culture is my niece.
Cool.
But I've known her ever since she was like a kid. So.
Yeah. She's an adult now.
She's 21. Yeah.
21. Okay, cool. And she's visiting Japan.
Yeah. She studies in Korea. Yeah, and she's
visiting Japan.
She's been in Japan for a few weeks.
Cool. That's awesome.
So so we'll be in Tokyo the night before, and then we'll drive back the day before. So I should be around for the stream. It's okay. Yeah, she knows I don't know that stuff.
Oh, I see. All right, that is relevant. But yeah, that's cool. Then.
Well, I'll have a house guest, but I should be available to. Oh, she's staying in this room, so I'm gonna.
Oh, that's even more relevant. Yeah.
but I mean, I could always just stream in the living room and give her space here. Kind of thing.
Sure.
So we'll figure it out, but I'll let you know ahead of time and have her doing this on stream or something. Anyway, thank you for journeying through the lands of the Pen Cawr and revisiting some territories. Yeah, now I'm just like gonna go through. Yeah, I just gotta keep going through the book and saying, wait, did I miss a poem? Forget about a poem that mentioned something that we can build upon. So just. Yeah,
I'm gonna check all the flavor text at some point.
Have
a look through.
Yeah, good stuff. Cool.
Yep.
Let's put it there. See you next next Avalon channel. Is that how we're ending this? Is that our sign-off?
That's how you end it sometimes, based. You definitely say Avalon time, Avalon place, I think. But yeah. But yeah, that's how we're ending it. Cool. All right. Thank you all. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your crazy ideas, Alex Games. Thank you for your company and feedback, Sophia. For everyone that's lurking. Oh, I wanted to. Oh, it's too late now. I want to do a shout out at the beginning of the stream. But it's at the end of the stream instead. Maybe I'll do it next stream. But I'm going to forget. All right. Goodbye, everyone. Take it easy.
Yes.